Welcome into another episode of MoodSwings with Liv Moods. I am your host, Liv Moods, and today's show and every show is presented by Landmark Lincoln. As you guys know, I have recently joined the Landmark Lincoln family with my 2025 Lincoln Nautilus. Make sure you head to the location off of Bellevue and Broadway to figure out why they have been the #1 Lincoln dealer in Colorado for as long as they've had. Tell them that I've sent you. They'll get you in a whip, and they speak for themselves.
Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome back. Mood Swings with Liv Moods. I'm Liv Moods, and let's get into it. We've got lots of things to talk about today. We're going to start with just like a debrief. Some things have happened since the last show, so I want to make sure that you guys know my thoughts and opinions on them because obviously we all care what I think, right? No, maybe you don't, but you're here, so we're going to listen and we're going to have a good time. Also, happy Friday. It's a long holiday weekend this weekend, so make sure you guys are safe. Call the Uber. Have fun, of course. But we're going to get into things and chat a little bit of football. I don't think I have any basketball to talk about today, mostly football. But that being said, here pretty soon, we will have plenty to talk about in the world of basketball, and we'll be covering both on this show, football and basketball. So have no fear, lots of basketball content and conversations in the future. But for now, let's talk some football. Okay, Micah Parsons traded to the Packers. Wow, you guys. He deserves to be somewhere that's got success on the horizon and a place where he feels appreciated. Imagine, though, being a sports fan of a city that lost both Micah Parsons and Luka Doncic in the same year. Dallas fans are sick, and they should be. You guys really should be. Not only should you be sick, but you should be pissed off because what is Jerry Jones doing? What is he up to? Maybe you're the type of Cowboys fan that's looking at the glass half full and you're saying, well, he's not worth the money, which, by the way, he is, but I'm going to let you have your moment. He's not worth the money. Okay, but Dak Prescott is? I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound like a hater here, but you're not going to be able to convince me that Dak Prescott is worth $240 million. No, you're not. You're also not going to be able to convince me otherwise in believing that Jerry Jones hates the Cowboys. That's a fact. He hates the Dallas Cowboys. You can't tell me his behavior is that of someone that loves this team. He lives and dies by the Dallas Cowboys. He only wants the best for the Cowboys. No, he hates this team. He hates them. That's what his behavior says to me. We'll stop dogging on Dallas. I really do hope for the best for this team. I've got a best friend who is a huge fan of the Dallas Cowboys, and every year I watch her be tormented and, emotionally abused, really, by this team at the hands of Jerry Jones. And it doesn't look like this season is going to be any different, but it should be different for the Packers. Let's talk about the Packers on the side of this trade. In my opinion, the Packers are the type of team that will always have a coaching advantage, which always keeps them in conversation. Because of their coaching advantage, they will always be in conversation, right? They're never going to go off the map. Jordan Love. Has Jordan Love convinced you that he can be the guy that can win a Super Bowl with this team? I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I'm there yet with Jordan Love, but I do find myself impressed by him often. So I like Jordan Love. I think the ceiling is very high for Jordan Love, but I'm not sure I trust him enough yet to believe that he can take this team all the way. And I hope I'm wrong. You also really can't sleep. I saw a lot of conversations about as soon as Micah Parsons was traded to the Packers became the favorite in their division. Everyone was like, this is it. This is the golden ticket. I'm not sure about that, only because you can't sleep on the competition that's in this division. I've already told you how I feel about the Chicago Bears. They will be better under Ben Johnson. They will. I have a lot of faith in them. The Lions are stacked with talent and much healthier now than they were when they ended their season last year. And the Vikings, honestly, their success is kind of a coin toss this season. They could be really great. They could have a really bad year. So I don't think you can sleep on anyone in this division. Therefore, I don't think you can say that Micah Parsons, that's it. He's the golden ticket. They are winning the Super Bowl. They're going all the way. Do I expect odds to change in terms of who's the favorite of the division? Yes, it happens all the stinking time when a big trade happens. Did Micah Parsons make the Packers better? Duh. Is he going to be, or is the Micah Parsons trade enough to give Packers fans that it's now or never satisfaction under Jordan Love? I don't think so. I'm not there yet. But I like being proven wrong, especially when it comes to young talent. So Jordan Love, prove me wrong. Okay. I like you a lot. I'm impressed by you often. Do I trust you just yet to be that guy and take this team all the way? Maybe not, but I would love to be proven wrong. So do that. Okay, of course, could not have this show today without talking about the elephant in the room. I mean, the elephant's huge. It's humongous. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. Did we see this coming? I think most people did, yes. I think we saw an engagement near. We just didn't know exactly when. Here's the deal. Love them or hate them, this is the most famous couple in the world right now. Taylor Swift is global. The NFL is global. This is the most famous couple in the world right now. You will continue to see Taylor Swift on your TV screens, and not just for Chiefs games. I saw her face quite a bit during the Cincinnati game just last night, okay? She will be on your screen whether you like it or not. I think it's time we just all get on board with the fact that she's in the NFL now. It's not just Travis Kelce that plays for the NFL. So does Taylor Swift, okay? As a woman in her bridal era myself, I am so happy for her, for him. These are two people that hustle, chase their bag, constantly working and working very hard and doing it very, very well. I can speak on the fact that once you meet your person, you just learn, you get that feeling of like, oh, they all say the stupid cliche crap of like, this is what life's all about. Life's about a lot of things. Life's about a good trip to the bar, drinking a little too much one night. Life's about a lot of things. There's a lot of ways you can live your life and be happy. But as someone that is in their bridal era, football is not forever for Travis Kelce. Taylor Swift's not going to be able to tour the world the way she has been for the rest of her life. She could do it for a while, but not the rest of her life. I really do love this for both of them. I, again, am also in the same phase of life, and it just feels good, especially when you meet your person. Now, I do have one controversial thing to mention here in regards to this engagement, and that is I'm not even going to mention her name because that's the problem. Why are we even talking about this woman? Let her live her life. Leave Travis Kelce's ex alone. Leave her alone. Quit grasping at straws and looking for cryptic posts and saying, oh, here's her cryptic message after the engagement. Leave her alone. Let her be. Okay, Swifties, I know you guys are OD about a lot of stuff when it comes to Taylor. Let's just live in the moment with Taylor Swift and be excited for her. Leave Travis's ex out of things, okay? She's living her best life. She is a baddie. She is so hot. She really is. She's living her best life. Leave her alone. I also hate the narrative of because she's a baddie, Travis fumbled the bag. Here's the deal, you guys. Maybe they grew apart. Maybe they were no longer compatible. Maybe she walked away from him. We don't know. We don't know the details, the intimate details of their relationship and or how it played out or ended. When are y'all going to realize that looks, physical attraction, while very important, trust and believe, it is a fraction of what makes a relationship work. So stop pushing the narrative. Travis fumbled the bag. Let's be happy for Travis and Taylor, and let's leave Travis's ex alone and hope that she too finds her person, okay? And she will. But for God's sake, let's give the woman some peace. Travis has found his person. Taylor has found her person. And Travis's ex is going to be right there at some point in her life. And maybe she doesn't want that right now. Have you guys ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about the idea that some people are single by choice? Some people don't want to be in a relationship. They want to be independent and live their best life. Okay? Just like some women don't want to have kids, Let's leave these women alone immediately. Speaking of women and weirdo behavior, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, files a trademark for the term gold digger. Excuse me? She's hoping to apparently put this on jewelry and keychains. Okay. My first thought here was, I'm actually shocked Kanye West hasn't already successfully done this. But here's the deal, girl. I got to give you props first. I'll start with the positive and then the negative. The positive is good on you for capitalizing on the haters. She knows what kind of conversations are out there. Typically, those conversations are going to come around when you've got a 49-year age gap between you and your partner. Yeah, that's a pretty fair thing, I think, for people to assume, is that you're after this man's money. He's one of the most successful coaches in the NFL. And, what business do you have as a 24-year-old? I believe she's 24, dating a grandpa. But live your life, and good on you for capitalizing on the haters, making some money, chasing your bag, get your money. I love that. But the reality is, this is not the first nor the last relationship that we're going to see where there's a damn near 50-year-old age gap. Gold diggers have been around for some time, and they will continue to be around for some time. So, when you trademark something, it's like, this is my special thing. You being 49 years younger than your partner is not special. It happens a lot. So I'm not understanding how this is going to be successful. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she ends up getting what she wants and she's taking advantage of the haters and she's making money. Good on you. I just don't know if this is going to be a successful mission, because you're not the first nor the last young, hot woman that goes after a grandpa with money. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, but good on you. One more congratulations. We've got Travis and Taylor, and we've got Travis Hunter and his wife, Liana. Leanna, I think it's Liana. If I'm wrong on that, please correct me. They have brought a beautiful baby boy into this world. Now, here's the thing. I did the math in my brain. She just recently had this baby. That means that during her wedding, she was around 6 months pregnant. I got to give a round of applause here. I eat one French fry and my stomach is touching the wall that's over there. She looked so good, which I'm sure required a lot of work. I'm sure she was being very cautious about her health and taking care of herself. And for that, I don't know how these women do it. I have not yet had my own child, but I can imagine I'm going to be just foul and eating everything in sight and just, I see women a lot where their whole face gets pregnant. That's going to be me. I know that for a fact. She looked incredible, but that's really besides the point. Good on them for keeping this so private, keeping this so sacred and intimate between the two of them. I can already hear what was going to come out of people's mouths had she announced this pregnancy before the baby was here. She's trapping him. Do you guys understand? It takes 2 people to make a baby. 1, 2, okay? It does. Do you guys also understand that this is his wife? I think the trapping conversations are dead and gone, okay? He chose to be at the altar and marry this woman. He also chose to have a baby with this woman, okay? So let's let these two just live their best life. Congratulations to both of you. And I'm happy for them for keeping this private and just kind of keeping things sacred. I did the same thing, not with my baby. Don't worry, I don't have a secret baby, guys. Relax. But I did the same thing with my now fiance. The entire time we were dating, I did not post him anywhere. So of course, very confusing for people when they checked my Instagram. They're like, she's engaged? I didn't even know she had a relationship. Yeah, I wanted to keep him private because I get sick of people inserting their opinions on things they have no business talking about. And I would imagine this is how Travis and his wife felt. So congratulations to them for bringing such a beautiful baby into the world. Haven't seen the baby, but I know it's beautiful. All babies are. That's a lie. Most babies actually come out looking quite scary, but then they get cute quickly. So anyway, congratulations to the lovebirds on being parents. I love that. Okay, we're going to get into our Where Do We Stand weekly standings. Typically, I like to tie in a little bit of dating advice, life advice. Today, we don't really have that because I have a lot of things I want to talk about in terms of my weekly standings. As you guys know, Nike and the league revealed 8 new uniforms for the inaugural NFL Rivalries games. Okay, I really like that we're pushing this because I love a good rivalry. And we know naturally in the NFL, you have rivalries between division opponents, and those always feel a little bit more intense and fun. But now we're really like hyping up rivalries, and I love that. Okay, we've got teams from the AFC East and the NFC West, okay? They will wear special uniforms during a single home game against a division rival. Love this. Love this. Okay. Elements of each uniform are unique to the city and to the team. Now, you're going to find that when I'm ranking these uniforms, a lot of it had to do with like who really showed up and was creative. Some of these uniforms are kind of, in my opinion, half-assed, and some are really, really cool and creative. So we're going to rank them in a second. But after this season, the Threads will be in the team's uniform rotation for 3 years alongside existing alternate looks. We all love the alternate looks. We love the throwback uniforms. We love the all-white uniforms by some teams. So these will just be in rotation for 3 years, okay? We will get uniforms debuted for other teams. In 2026, we'll get the AFC South and the NFC North. In 2027, we'll get the NFC East and the AFC West. Go Broncos. Cannot wait to see what they do. And 2028, we'll get the AFC North and the NFC South. So let's get into my rankings. We're going to start from the bottom and go to the top. So at 8, the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, you can see this jersey here on the screen. It's giving UFC to me, or UCF, not UFC. It's not giving UFC. It's giving UCF to me. This just doesn't look like, no, why am I saying UCF or UFC? I meant CFL. That's what I meant. Okay, a lot of letters happening here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. CFL. That's what these uniforms are giving to me. They just don't feel like, I don't know. They kind of look like something that like a young youth football team would wear. They're just not doing a lot for me. They're really not. And I'm sure on the field, they're going to look super cool. They're also kind of giving Oregon, which no hate against Oregon, but it's just not giving Seattle Seahawks. And it doesn't really feel all that creative and special to Seattle and to this team. So they're last on my list. I was very unimpressed by these uniforms. Next, we've got the Los Angeles Rams. Now, believe it or not, I really like these uniforms because I am a sucker for an all-black uniform. Here's what I don't like. I don't like the cap sleeves, like at all. And it just feels lazy. It feels very lazy. Like, okay, cap sleeves and all black. Woo! Here we are. It's like, come on. This does not feel special. It feels like a lazy attempt, and I don't love the cap sleeves. I do, however, love an all-black uniform, so normally this would be higher. But given the creativity by other teams, this one is going to be at 7. Okay, at 6. The Jets. This is pretty cool, right? Like it looks like it's worn. I like the color green. There's little details along the collar. There's some writing. So they definitely made more of an effort than the Seahawks and the Rams, but still not a favorite of mine. There's some other ones that are really, really great. So let's go to 5. That's the San Francisco 49ers. I like this. This looks cool. It's kind of giving like pirate-y to me, which, yeah, I don't know. This kind of looks like the combination of a throwback, but also something new. I like these, and I think they're going to look very cool when they wear them in a game. Again, still not a favorite, but better than the ones I've talked about so far. Okay, at 4. Now, this would have been higher. Except other teams have done all-white uniforms. So that kind of stole the shine a little bit. I love an all-white uniform. The Bengals all-whites are some of my favorite uniforms out there. I love an all-white look. So I really love these jerseys actually a lot. To me, it's just like, oh, been there, done that. We've seen all-white uniforms before, so it was just kind of like, whatever. I do love these. Obviously in Buffalo, lots of snow. We had a really snowy game. I think it was 49ers Bills was like a really, really, really snowy game that they played last season. So you know you're going to get snow when you play in Buffalo. These will look super sick. I really, really like them, but white just kind of feels like a safe option. You know, they look icy. Again, they're very cool, but we've seen white before, so it just kind of didn't stand out to me. Okay, at 3. These are cool to me. These are really cool to me. I think they were trying to play on like the turbo, the speed, underwater vibes. Of course, they're the Dolphins. I really, really like these uniforms. These are my top 3 were hard. Like I feel like they're interchangeable. The Miami Dolphins, I like the colors. I like that they look a little bit neon. I just think these will look really sick. I'm not sure what color pant they're planning on wearing with these, but like an orange would be really cool. And I'm hoping that's what they do. But again, it's not my decision. These are sick. I thought Miami did a very, very, very good job with these uniforms. Okay, at 2. This should probably be 1 to most people. The Patriots slam dunked this. They have a particular amount of stars around the collar, which has a meaning. I'm going to have you guys look into that because I want you to read on it on your own. It's got writing on the collar. It's distressed. It's cool. This is just a cool effing uniform. One that I would really love to see them play in often. Now, what makes this even cooler to me is that they're pairing it with silver pants. I think that will look so sick. I would say between my 1 and my 2, this was like a really, really close second. I think the New England Patriots did just the right amount of like tradition, and there's little secret messages on the jersey and different hidden meanings, and these are just cool. They're cool. They're distressed looking. They're cool. And with silver pants, they're even cooler. Apparently, I think these are cool. You should too. Okay, number 1. Kind of probably an unpopular opinion. People are like, honestly, by the way, these NFL rivalries jerseys are very polarizing. You either love them or you hate them. I love the Cardinals. They did a dust storm, so it looks like a white uniform is being worn in a dust storm in Arizona, and I just think that's so clever and so cool. It looks dirty, it looks filthy, but I honestly think like on the field, it will look really, really awesome. So I loved this. I thought that they just were very creative with the dust storm thing. And like you guys are noticing now, the reason the Seahawks, the Rams, all of them were so low is because these other teams just got really creative. And I liked the creativity behind the Cardinals jersey. So that's my one. But obviously, rank them yourself. Let me know which one you liked the best. Was this a hit or was this a miss? I love them. I think they're sick. I'm excited for all of the teams to eventually have their rivalries uniforms. So I'm a big fan. Okay, we are now going to my favorite segment of the show, which is Driven Opinions, where I take a back seat, okay? I'm in a back seat. I'm taking the back seat. It's a hot seat. All gas, no brakes. I have no preparation on what these topics or these questions will be. My producers have come up with them. So, driven by Landmark Lincoln, here is Driven Opinions. Hitting the gas on hot takes. Okay, we've got 3 that my producers have come up with. Actually, my one producer, Andy. Shout out to Andy. We've got 3 topics. I have no idea what they are. I'm seeing them for the first time, just like you. I've got no notes on them. So let's see what we've got today. First, would you rather have a stacked defense with a mid quarterback or an elite quarterback with no defense? For sure, a stacked defense. For sure. I actually just had a little tiny tiff. It wasn't a tiff or an argument, but my fiance Alex was on the phone with his friend, and his friend was like, I saw that you bet on the Broncos. Why would you do that? Defense wins championships. Like, this has been a known fact. And he was trying to dog on Bo Nix, which, by the way, he was so off base on his thoughts on Bo Nix. But let's say hypothetically that you do. Actually, we can speak on the Broncos season last year. In so many ways, this might actually sound rude. And I think some Broncos fans are going to be like, Liv, that was not cool. But in so many ways, you could argue there were certain games where we had a very mid offense or offensive production or offensive performance. It was maybe mid some games. And our defense was what kept us alive in most of those games, especially when you're talking about a stacked defense that can also put points on the board. They can keep your opponent from scoring, and this Broncos defense is expected to do just that this season. But they can also score. You had Nick Bonito twice. You had Pat Surtain doing that. He does that every year. But our defense was interchangeably our offense and our defense. So a stacked defense to me, absolutely hands down, I will take that with a mid quarterback any day. By the way, Bo Nix is not a mid quarterback. But if you do think that, I would say the one reason that you should still bet on the Broncos this season is because of that defense they're going to have. It's going to be exceptional, and we know defense wins championships. So give me a stacked defense any day of the week. Okay, next. Next, we've got, if uniforms were dating profiles, which NFL team's fit would get the most left swipes? That means they would not be picked, right? Okay, we're going to say swipe left. Guys, it's been a while since I've been on a dating app. The last time I was on a dating app, I found the person I'm marrying. So it's been a minute. I would say left swipes means you don't want them. They're like, So if uniforms were dating profiles, which NFL team's fit would be getting the most left swipes? So turning the most people off or turning them away. Let me pull up some pictures here because I kind of need to see a visual really quick. this might be a hot take because I think some of the uniforms that I don't like, are like traditional. You know, they've got meaning and they're like so old school that people love them. I would say, you know, if we're being honest, because it does just give like very clean cut, which I would say is a good thing. I would say simple is better when you're on a dating app. That's the truth. I think if you try to do too much on your dating profile, it doesn't usually end well. I think if you leave a little room for mystery, it would make you be like, oh, I want to know more about this person. So I would say the uniforms that have too much going on would actually be what turns me away on a dating profile. The uniforms that are a little too busy and there's like a lot of things happening on a dating profile, I'd be like, that's a little much for me. I think I would want something simple. Simplified. The most swipe lefts, if we're being honest and it's a dating profile, I would say I'm kind of looking through some pictures right now. Honestly, I would say the Jets. I think the Jets would get the most swipe lefts because it is a simple uniform, which again, I'm saying on a dating profile, I think simple is better, but it's like a boring simple. The Jets to me have a very just like simple, boring uniform. Looks good. I don't hate them, but in the sake of a dating profile, you want to have a little bit of something that captivates me. Plain white and green with just the word Jets across the helmet. It's just kind of like, you know, there's no like logo or any, it's just Jets. I don't know that. I don't think that would do much for me. I'd be like, yeah, okay, like you're probably cool, but you're not enticing me. That's the thing, fellas. Can I give you a little piece of advice here? If you want to avoid being the New York Jets uniform on a dating profile, here's what you need to not do, okay? You need to keep it relatively simple, but also remembering that this is a first impression. What do you want me to see for the first time that would make me go, I want to keep having conversations with them? Every woman is different, but you holding a dead fish on a boat does nothing for me. It doesn't. I'm not a fan of it. It doesn't make me go, I think we're going to have great conversation. Again, this is just me. I've never been big on the dead fish picture or, you know, the flexing in the mirror picture where it looks like your eyes are going to bulge out of your head. Like, I just want you to remember this is your first impression, right? So show yourself in a nice outfit. Show yourself with kids around you. Show yourself standing next to your sister. That makes me go, this is a family guy. He's got sisters. He might know how to treat women. Oh, he's good around kids. He must have a nice job. Look at how he's dressed. But, you know, and then maybe sprinkle in the dead fish. But if it's all dead fish, bro tank, flexing, out with the guys, chugging a beer, it's like, oh, you might be fun to date, but I don't know if I want to marry you, you know? This is the first impression, okay? You got to have enough on your dating profile that makes me want to keep conversating with you or to get to know you, but not too much that I'm like, oh, you know, like that's a lot. So it's a balance. You may be hearing this and thinking men can't win. You're right. Sorry. It's just one of those double standard things that unfortunately, because you're a man, because you don't have to bear children, unfortunately, now you've got to figure out how women are impossible to keep happy and satisfied. It's true, but you'll be fine. Okay, moving on to the last prompt that I don't have any idea what it's going to be. Here we go. Which fan base talks the loudest with the least to brag about? Oh, gosh. Wow. Well, talks the loudest. Lakers fans are for sure up there, but what they have to brag about, most of which occurred before they were even alive, but they still do love to pull that out of their arsenal. So good on them. They do have a pretty lengthy track record that they can flex. So I'm not going to use them because I do think they've got a lot that they can say. Chiefs fans, believe it or not, are not as loud as they probably should be. Considering the domination we've seen from the Chiefs over the last few years, I feel like they should be louder. And I actually feel like most Chiefs fans that I've met are relatively bearable, believe it or not. I actually think the Chiefs are more annoying than the fans. That's the truth. Okay. The loudest fans with the least to oh. I'll do one for the football and then I'll try to find one for basketball. for sure, the Buffalo Bills. That's up there. Bills Mafia. Loud. And good on you because, hello, when you've got Josh Allen, doesn't it feel like anything is possible at any given moment? Of course it does. But how many times have we seen this Josh Allen that you feel like nobody respects and you want the world to know how amazing he is? How many times has he done the most amazing thing and made it to a Super Bowl and or won a Super Bowl? No, he hits the same roadblock every season, which is Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So you guys are loud about Josh Allen and how everybody should be on this Bills Mafia, choo-choo train, but we're still waiting for the train to leave the station. We've been sitting idle for years. So Bills Mafia, but I respect it because Bills Mafia, you do have Josh Allen. So it does feel like this should be our moment. But every time we say that, it's not the moment. So I'm going to put Bills Mafia there. And in the world of the NBA, I will say I felt this a lot from OKC last season. Given they hadn't won, with SGA, and we kind of already were crowning him as like the GOAT of the league, which felt a little excessive. But now they've won a championship, so I'm going to not say them right this moment. In the NBA, the loudest with the least to brag about. That's hard because I feel like in the NBA, typically the teams that are the loudest have a reason to be. I would just say OKC. I mean, obviously now they've won a championship, so it makes sense. And they have a little bit more of, a leg to stand on to be loud. Now, here's what I will not tolerate, though, from OKC fans. Hear me loud and clear. The Nuggets won their first championship in this, that they've ever seen. The Nuggets won their first championship, and I remember getting some OKC fans on my page going, "You only won one. Chill out. Okay, you've got one now. So you chill out too. Don't start talking crazy. See, now you're going to know what that battle was like as a Nuggets fan, where it's like, I believe in this team. They won a championship. I think that they could go all the way. They're building a dynasty. Be careful though now, because now all eyes are on you. Now, as a Nuggets fan, I'm watching you going, oh, you're talking awfully loud for someone with one ring, one single ring. And again, it's easy to. It really is. But now that you again, under this, and okay, technically speaking, the Supersonics did win a ring. I'm talking the Oklahoma City Thunder, the rebranded Oklahoma City Thunder has won one ring. The Denver Nuggets, when we won, that was their first ring. And I remember OKC fans telling me, chill out, you've only won one. I hope you keep that same energy this year, because if you're loud and in my mentions like this, I'm going to be like, really? I bookmark stuff, folks. I do often. So just be careful. So yeah, I would say NBA, probably OKC, but they've won one, so I'm going to let them have their moment. But don't let that moment last too long, because y'all tried to shut me down quick when that next NBA season started. So keep that same energy. That's all I'm saying. Okay, that's it for Driven Opinions for today. Now we get into my off my chest segment for today, which is me ranting about something that's just bothering me. It's on my nerves, whatever. Today's topic is none other than Dylan Raiola versus Patrick Mahomes, okay? Here's where I'm going to start with this. The whole imitation is the best form of flattery thing is a hoax. Imitation is typically just annoying as hell. It really is, especially when you're not giving the proper credit. That's the key, folks. I've been copied before. I'm okay with that. But when you copy and then claim it's your idea, or claim that you kind of act stupid, like, oh, I'm not. Come on. Stop it. Okay. Dylan Raiola said, I can't get mad at God for making me look like him. Leave God out of this, please. People are calling you creepy and annoying. Leave God out of this, okay? My biggest thing is this. Be original. Be authentic. Be yourself. And some days being yourself might look boring. Okay. Who cares? And him saying, I can't get mad at God for making me look like him. Explain the sunglasses. Explain the haircut. Explain the facial hair that's now identical. Explain the jersey number. Explain the outfits. And now the in-game finger wiggle. Come on. Dylan, we weren't born yesterday, okay? Just say this man's your idol and you respect him. People will be okay with that. It's like, hell yeah. Who doesn't respect Patrick effing Mahomes? Hello? Okay, and you do look like him. So play on that. Hey, I've been told before I look like him. So I figured, hey, why not embody the GOAT of the sport that I am hoping to play on the highest level? Own it. But to almost pretend like you have no idea that you're fully copying this man, at what point does copying become creepy? You know? Someone else that comes to mind as like unoriginal at times is Jason Tatum. I've seen a montage of different moments where it's like word for word, bar for bar, you're saying the exact same thing someone before you has said. At what point do we look at that and go, okay, this isn't flattery, this is creepy? I have friends in the industry whose interviews have been copied bar for bar with no credit. At what point does that feel creepy? I feel like Dylan Raiola at this point in time is kind of giving creepy because he's not giving credit. He's playing dumb and saying, I can't help God made me look like him. No, we're not going to do that. If you're going to copy him, just own it. It makes it way less creepy, but not owning it and pretending you're not copying him is making it super creepy. But here's where I will give him some credit after his win versus Cincinnati last night. 33 of 42 on attempts versus completions, or completions versus attempts, I'm sorry. 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, all in Arrowhead and in front of the person that he admires, potentially stalks, and is obsessed with. I'm kidding about the stalking thing, but again, at what point do we look at that and go, okay, maybe a little bit. maybe a little bit though, because this is getting weird. So here's the deal. Kudos to Dylan for such a great game last night, but I do think at a certain point, imitation that we're supposed to be flattered by is just creepy and weird. And there's my 2 cents. And this is not just Dylan Raiola. There's people out there that copy constantly. And what really gets me is the people, again, it's the copying without credit. Just give credit to the source. Hey, I was really inspired by that outfit. Or I really liked your shoes and I ordered some. Fine. But at a certain point, you know, you got to at least acknowledge that this is starting to feel creepy AF. Okay, moving on. Final segment and then we're out of here, okay? My love language is betting. We know this. Actually, I think I have a few love languages, but one of them is definitely betting. And I just wanted to very briefly give you guys a couple of hot takes that I have in the world of betting. Nothing crazy. We're going to spend like 2 minutes on this, okay? My hot takes for making or missing the playoffs, okay? I believe the Bears will make the playoffs. It's true. I think the Bears will make the playoffs. I've already explained this to you guys. Ben Johnson, to me, he walked in. He's holding his players accountable. I think what? I just had a brain fart like you would not believe. I almost called him Caleb Love. Maybe it's because I was talking about Jordan Love in the beginning. Caleb Williams, to me, will have a much better year. Part of that might be because he has a coach that will create a culture where accountability is there. The coaching staff went in, they addressed the O-line issues. That's huge, obviously, and having a better year from Caleb Williams. But again, I just think coaching matters a lot, and the Bears have revamped their coaching staff, and I think it will make a huge difference. So I've got the Bears making the playoffs. Now, I've got the Steelers missing the playoffs. I know. The Steelers missing the playoffs. It feels wrong, especially under Mike Tomlin, who has never had a losing season in 18 seasons. But here's the deal, and I had this conversation over dinner last night. Aaron Rodgers is just not him anymore. Hold on. Before you freak the F out, let me explain myself. Aaron Rodgers is still a fantastic quarterback. But Aaron Rodgers comes from the era where quarterbacks were a lot less athletic and they were more mentally trained than anything else. And that was a really good thing. That's why we saw such fantastic quarterback play. Peyton Manning was not a quarterback that you were excited to watch run. No, Peyton Manning, stay put. But he could sling that thing, okay? And he knew how to win football games, and his mental capacity when it came to the game of football was exceptional. That era of quarterbacks was outstanding. But the era that we're in now, the way in which the game of football has evolved, you're seeing quarterbacks and just players in general, but especially quarterbacks that are far more athletic. They may not be as mentally trained as some of those GOATs from back in the day, but they're super freaking athletic. They're strong. They're hard to sack. They can run fast. Okay. Aaron Rodgers is no longer that. And I think the game has evolved to kind of match those athletic quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers no longer falls in that category. He is old and he is slow. And he used to be able to get away with that, but I don't think he will be anymore. Okay. So I really have a feeling that the Steelers will miss the playoffs. And I think Aaron Rodgers will be a huge part of that. I think he's wonderful. I think he's one of the best. I just think the game is evolving faster than he is because he's getting older. So I've got the Steelers missing the playoffs. Now, my last one is the Vikings also missing the playoffs. Like I said earlier in the show, the Vikings to me are a flipping coin toss. Truly. They could have a great season. They could have a really bad season. I don't see them having a great season. I just don't. Especially considering I've got the Bears a lot better. I've got the Lions still great and healthier. And the Packers just got a little scarier as well. Because their division to me has advanced and there's quite a few question marks around the Vikings at this point in time, I think it's a miss for the Vikings. So those are my 3 hot takes for making or missing the playoffs. Obviously, you guys, if you've got one, if you agree, if you disagree, let me know. As we start getting closer to the season, I'll keep dropping little futures bets that you guys can either tail or fade. It does not bother me one way or the other if you fade or tail. But as we get into the regular season, we'll have anytime touchdowns, scorers. We'll have who's covering the spread, underdog, upsets, all the things. But for now, those are some of my hot takes on who's missing or making the playoffs, in my humble opinion. Do with that what you will. Okay, that is another episode. That concludes another episode of Mood Swings with Liv Moods. I'm Liv Moods. Thank you for joining me. Happy Friday. And of course, again, a long holiday weekend. So be safe, make good choices, have a great time, enjoy your time off, but be smart. Don't do anything super stupid. You can do something kind of stupid, but not super stupid. And we'll see you guys same time, same place, Monday, I believe. Actually, Monday is, because it's kind of a long holiday weekend, I think we're going to be a little flexible maybe on the time. We'll for sure still go live on Monday, just don't know what time yet. So just bear with us. I'll post about it and let you guys know so that you can mark it in your calendars. But we'll see you Monday for another episode of Mood Swings. I'm Liv Moods signing off for now, and we'll see you very, very soon. Bye.